Thank you, everyone, for attending Mesa City Council meeting here on September 8th, 2025. For roll call, our Vice Mayor Summers and Councilmember Heredia are participating by Zoom. Otherwise, all council members are present. We'll begin. I want to begin before we start for September 11th, 2001. As most of you remember, you should all remember, with a moment of silence for those who died during that tragic event. Can we do that for just a few seconds? Thank you. A moment of silence. Thank you. First, we'll begin with a Pledge of Allegiance and then followed by an invocation by Elder Matthew Riggs from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So we'll start with the pledge. Please join me. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stand for the invocation. Elder Riggs.
Before I say a prayer, let me just tell you how much I appreciate anybody who serves on the city, and I know that you make yourselves vulnerable. Appreciate your service. My father served as a councilman, vice mayor. My great-grandfather was a blacksmith at Main Street and Country Club. We love Mesa. Let us pray. Our Father in heaven, we're so very grateful unto thee for this free land in which we live. We're grateful for the opportunities and the liberties that we enjoy. As this council and as Mayor Freeman leads this council tonight, we pray for him and for them that they will have thy spirit to guide and direct their feelings, their expressions. Please bless them with civility, kindness, and strength of character to do those things that are according to thy will, setting aside their own personal thoughts, but always seeking to do the will that's the best for the people of Mesa. We're grateful for their service. We pray that thou will bless them for their service and bless their families for the time that they spend away from their families in the service of others. Please watch over and bless and protect their families. Please help them to lead with empathy and love and kindness. We pray that thy spirit will bless them in their leadership, that they will have a spirit of cooperation and camaraderie, and to avoid the spirit of contention. We're grateful unto thee for this land in which we live, and pray for all those who are in any political office who are seeking to do thy will. We pray for those in harm's way, for our first responders and for our military. Please watch over them and bless them and their families. These things we pray for in the name of thy beloved Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Thanks.
This evening, we'll have Mr. Christopher come forward and read our consent agenda. For the record, Mr. Christopher, 4A, 5A, 7B, and 7C are off the consent. Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. These are the items of the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk will be considered as a group by the City Council and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless a council member or a citizen requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as a separate item. Item 2, approval of minutes of previous meetings as written. Item 3A, act on liquor license application for Shop Quick, 323 North Gilbert Road. Item 3B, act on liquor license application for Cali Tacos, 2757 East Main Street. Item 3C, act on liquor license application for One Pot Fusion, 502 South Dobson Road. Item 3D, act on liquor license application for G.J. Liquors, 753 West Broadway. Item 3E, act on liquor license application for Pizzicato, 6210 East McKellips. Item 4A has been removed from the consent agenda. Item 4B, approving dollar limit increase for the term contract for custodial services for City Facilities Zone 7 for the Facilities Management Department. Item 4C, approving 10-month use for cooperative term contract with renewal options for transmission repair services for the Fleet Services Department. Item 5A has been removed from the consent agenda. Item 5B, approving resolution to enter into contracts with qualified electric power suppliers for electric power products and associated energy for contract not to exceed 18 months. Item 5C, approving resolution for zoning case 25-529 for property located east of the northeast corner of Ellsworth and Germain Roads for an industrial park. Item 5D, approving resolution to acquire additional natural gas pipeline transmission capacity directly with Transwestern Pipeline Company or through the Arizona Electric Power Cooperative. Item 6A, approving resolution declaring the documents filed with the city clerk titled Chapter 14 Employment Opportunity District to be a public record and providing for the availability of the documents for public use and inspection with the city clerk. Item 6B, introduction of ordinance for proposed amendments to Chapters 14 and 86 of Title 11 of the Mesa City Code. The amendments include repealing and replacing Chapter 14 Employment Opportunity District and modifying Section 11-86-1 Purpose and Accountability. Item 7A, introduction of ordinance for proposed amendments to Chapter 36 of Title 11 of the Mesa City Code pertaining to legal non-conforming uses, lots, parcels, structures, and sites, and legal procedurally conforming uses and structures. Items 7B and 7C have both been removed from the consent agenda. Mayor and council members, these are the items on the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher. Do we have a motion to approve? Thank you, Ms. Spilsbury. Thank you, Ms. Duff. Please cast your vote.
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Heredia. Vice Mayor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Great, thank you. Next, we'll move over back to 4A. Get over here. 4A is a 4-year term contract for water and wastewater treatment chemicals for the Water Resources Department. I have one person to speak, Alec Francic. Alex, you want to come forward? Thank you.
Say when, okay. Thank you, Mayor, council members. Good evening. It's been a while. Nice to see everybody back again. Before we begin, I'm not against this. I'm just going to make an appeal for an amendment to this. I urge the city to amend this agreement and to remove the fluoride from our public water supply, specifically the hydrofluorosilicylic acid that's been added since 1999. Hydrofluorosilic acid is a corrosive and toxic byproduct of phosphate fertilizer production, commonly used in water treatment to release fluoride ions. However, it meets criteria for hazardous waste due to its toxicity, reactivity, and corrosiveness. Emerging science and ethical consideration demand we reconsider adding such a hazardous chemical to our drinking water. Recent studies show a higher fluoride exposure is linked to lower IQ in children. The National Toxicology Program's 2025 review found moderate confidence in this association at levels above 1.7 milligrams per liter based on global epidemiology. A JAMA Pediatrics meta-analysis of 74 studies confirmed inverse dose-response relationships, with even small increases potentially costing children IQ points. While our levels are around 0.7 milligrams per liter, uncertainty at lower exposures warrants caution, especially when alternatives like fluoridated toothpaste exists without forcing it on anyone. Hence, the wording on toothpaste with fluoride, if swallowed in excess, contact poison control immediately. Harvard research highlights potential neurotoxicity and concerns about thyroid disruption and pineal gland calcification. Nations like Germany and Sweden have banned water fluoridation, proving excellent dental health is possible without it. My family has a water filtration system that's not cheap to specifically help remove fluoride and other toxins. I know people in this audience who also have installed expensive water filtration systems specifically to try and remove the fluoride from the water. This debate is heating up nationwide. States like Utah and Florida have enacted statewide bans on adding fluoride to public water supplies. Cities and counties are following suit, including Miami-Dade County in Florida, DeForest in Wisconsin, Abilene in Texas, Yorktown and Summers in New York, and Bisbee right here in Arizona. Health Secretary RFK Jr. has called for re-evaluation, stating fluoride should not be in our water and linking it to risks like IQ loss. Mesa We Can Lead. 2, promoting choice and safety. I know I'm running out of time. Last sentence here. Removing hydrofluorosilicic acid respects the individual rights, reduces potential harm, and saves costs on chemicals while encouraging personal dental care. Please amend this agreement to exclude the hydrofluorosilicic acid. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. I know in the past I've done some research on this, and I believe this was a voter-approved referendum that fluoride was supposed to be added to our water. Can you provide any insight, Mr. Smith?
Yeah, I'd have to look at it again, Mayor. I don't want to talk off the cuff. I haven't
Yeah.
looked at that for a long time. And also, even if it was approved by the voters once, I'd have to look at it as to whether that would limit council's ability to do any changes in the future.
Yeah. So for tonight's discussion, we'll probably move forward with this motion to approve it. But you brought up a good point. Let us research into it for next time. So with that, that's the only comment I have. Is there a motion, Mr. Adams?
Just to tag on to those comments, I recall this debate has heated up and cooled down since at least the 80s and probably before that. I'm just wondering if we're going to review this, and Mr. Smith doesn't have in front of him the historical, could we consider postponing this item until we can take a few additional looks at it?
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Yeah, you can continue it. I don't know the need for this, and maybe you want to hear from the water department, their need to sort of enter into this contract for,
Okay,
other purposes also.
I'm not an expert here. I'm just saying that it seems like there's a question of fact here that maybe we want to explore a little further. But
Why don't we bring up Mr. Hassert? Chris, come on up and explain our fluoride for our city water.
Sure. Good evening, Mayor, Council. Chris Hesser, Water Resources Director. So you're correct. It was in the early 2000s that the voters approved adding fluoride to water. So it's been the case for 20 to 25 years. Hydrofluorosilicic acid, it's very low pH. It's a pH of about 1, so it's highly acidic. At all our water treatment plants, we add that compound to fluoridate to a level of about 0.7 ppm. So, I mean, there's great compelling arguments on both sides. The American Dental Association, they'll advocate for fluoridating water, but then there's also compelling arguments against it. The only reason we fluoridate is because it was voter approved about 23 years ago. So it's really as simple as that.
Mr. Adams, did that answer your question?
yes, I appreciate that historical. And I would assume a voter-approved measure cannot be overturned by council vote. Is that true?
So Mayor and Council, I'd like to look at that. Give me a chance to research it, and if Council's inclined to continue this, I can look into that further.
I'd request
Council.
that if no one else is of the same mind, then so be it.
Well, I would like to know from Chris what the timing is on when you need this approved by.
Well, we have a stock of the chemical. When we run out, we would have to stop fluoridating the water. So we would not be complying with the voter-approved mandate. So it doesn't change the safety of the water, or doesn't change. It's an aesthetic addition. Fluoridating is aesthetic. So the water still complies with the Safe Drinking Water Act. Doesn't change the safety of the water. It's just we're not adding that aesthetic feature of fluoridating.
Okay. Council, do you have a problem for continuance?
I mean, I don't know how long of a process we're talking about here. Are we talking about months or weeks? Like if this is voter mandated, then we should vote to approve it and then continue to research it and look into it. Because we don't want to run out of the chemicals if this was something that our voters wanted 23 years ago and we haven't done anything to change that.
Well, Mayor, you can always do it that. You can sort of do it either way. You could approve it, and we can bring it back to a study session. We can look at the issue, and then you can, and if it's possible for council to overturn it, then we can look on putting that on the agenda, and then you can stop it. Or you could continue this for a month. We'll come back in a month and provide you with a response on whether your ability to potentially change what was voted on, and Whether we've run out of it in that month or not, we'll have to wait and see. But obviously, it's not intentional that we're trying to not fluoridate the water in compliance with that vote, but rather looking at the issue.
So Mayor and Council, I could find out tomorrow morning just how long that compound will last, when we'll run out of it, if that would help.
Okay.
I don't know if it's 1 week or if it's 6 weeks.
Well, you're asking for a 4-year supply of chemicals. That's what the request
we're
is.
asking for
the current one?
Right.
the ability to continue repurchasing.
I know they
it.
overlap.
Yeah.
We wouldn't buy 4 years worth on one single purchase. It just gives us 4 years to continue to refresh that supply as we run out.
So could you do a continuance and then bring it back to the next council meeting?
Yeah, Mayor, we can do that. And since it's a contract, we don't have to continue it to date specific. If you just do a motion to continue, we'll just bring it back to the next council meeting.
But we don't know. We don't know what your supply, we don't know how important it is to continue. I think we should continue per the voter mandate, through the vote. And so do you have supply to continue until, I don't know if we do continuance, how long this is going to take?
Mayor and Council, I'll confirm that tomorrow morning. I would suspect it's weeks. We have at least weeks. We wouldn't cut it this close. So it's probably even more than weeks. It's probably getting into months in terms of the supply that we have on hand.
And lead times and supply chain?
Correct. You would have time to come back next council meeting and consider it again.
Okay.
And Mayor, I would suggest that as well. Why don't we continue this until the next council meeting? We can hopefully find the information out during that time per the city attorney's comments. And then if for some reason though Chris goes back and he finds out that there was a more immediate need to comply with existing law, we could certainly call a special council meeting or take quicker action if need be. But I find it hard to believe that they would be cutting it this close on that supply. So we can certainly.
The point of a continuance is to have the discussion, right? But to make a decision would take much longer if we wanted to open it up, whether it is to a voter, whether it is to our own research and evaluation. So we're talking, this isn't going to be decided in a week.
Mayor and Councilmember Duff, I don't disagree with you on that point, but if it gives the council more comfort that they have that knowledge before they take action on this, then we could certainly try to understand the parameters of what your limitations are under existing voter-approved law.
It does not.
Everyone, can we hold your applause while we have a discussion, please? I think that'd be very respectful. Just appreciate that.
Applause in this environment.
You can do jazz hands or something like that, but just help us out here, okay? Appreciate it. Mr. Heredia, do you have any comments, followed by the Vice Mayor? Then I'll switch over to.
Yeah.
Mr. Heredia? If not, I'll move over to the Vice Mayor. Mr. Summers?
Thank you, Mayor. No, I think the concerns have been well-founded with respect to ensuring that we have the right supply and that we follow the law as it is. So if we are certain that there's a adequate supply for the next few months to follow the laws as the voters had intended back in 2000, I'd be comfortable with a continuance. Either way, I think it's going to be an issue that ends up revisited.
Okay, very good.
Mayor, if I may, there's another consideration that you should be aware of. I think you are, but in case you're not. So the surface water that's treated and supplied to this part of the city comes from the Val Vista Water Treatment Plant. We co-own that with the City of Phoenix. The City of Phoenix manages and operates that plant. They also fluoridate. So the City of Phoenix, at all of their water treatment plants, they also fluoridate. So water in this part of town, even if we decide not to fluoridate at our treatment plants, would continue to be fluoridated by the City of Phoenix.
Good point. So the fluoridation happens at the Signal Butte plant?
Signal Butte, Brown Road, and then the Val Vista plant, which is operated by Phoenix. All
By
three
Phoenix.
plants fluoridate.
Okay. Does somebody else have a comment?
Well, I was just going to say, given that information as well as that we have a mandate, I think Jen's point is well taken, that we maybe satisfy the mandate, and this is going to be a bigger issue than what we're going to resolve tonight, or even probably in a week. It's raised, we should look into it for sure, but I don't know that we should do anything different than what we're doing in order to follow what we're supposed to be doing under the mandate, and as far as it mixing anyway. Those are my thoughts on it.
Okay. Mr. Butler, any
Mayor.
final comment? Who's speaking? Vice Mayor? Or Heredia?
No, this is Councilmember Heredia. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, hey, sorry I couldn't get off on mute, but given that information, I'm okay in having the vote, and then we can have a discussion afterwards, especially with the information Mr. Hastert mentioned right now, as far as having, ensuring that we have equal treatments as far as fluoride throughout our city, and ensuring the mandate is protected there as far as moving forward, and then having the discussion after.
I agree with Councilmember Heredia to continue business as usual and then come back and review it and have the discussion so we can continue. I don't think this is you have to be able to continue your work at some point, and otherwise we were going to be up against a deadline. And I don't know. I would like to continue as usual, look at it, and then if we wanted to reverse it, then we just cancel those contracts going forward if that's the case. We need to look at it holistically. That's going to take time. I think we need to continue business as usual, so not to have the disruption in your plants.
Very good. Is there anything else, Vice Mayor, Councilmember Heredia, Mr. Adams?
Well, it seems like a complicated issue with the jointly operated plant, the city of Phoenix. I think it's a topic worthy of our attention at some point in time in the near future. So, and I'm hesitant to, without knowledge of specifically what that particular vote covered, to attempt to override the will of the people at that time. But I think that it's something that we should agenda in the near future and open up a discussion with respect to fluoridation, yes or no, and have that discussion of its own accord.
Oh, thank you. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Ms. Spilsbury, second by Ms. Duff. Cast your vote.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Heredia. Mr. Summers?
Aye.
2 ayes. All right, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, we'll move over to item 5A. 5A is approving and authorizing the city manager to enter into a ground lease and development agreement, option to purchase agreement, and 3-phase specific development agreements and real estate sales agreements between the City of Mesa and RN1 Real Estate. Okay, thank you. We have some individuals to speak. Next, we'll hear from Alex Francic. Alex, you want to come forward?
I'm going to skip this one.
Pardon?
Can I skip this one?
Sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Davis speak, and then Terry Medeska follow. So, Terry, you're on deck. Thank you, Carrie.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Council. My name is Kerry Davis, and I'm here to speak about item 5A in opposition to the Cul-de-sac project. As the former mayor for the city of San Bernardino, I'm well aware of how the potential of overbuilding multifamily units can impact the city. I believe that the agreement does not provide enough minimum required parking spaces. I believe that the city has in this agreement an agreement to refund or to pay for $10 million worth of infrastructure improvement. I believe that the potential negative impact on local businesses is something that should be considered with the additional commercial infrastructure that would be provided in these agreements. There's also a lack of grocery stores in this area, and I don't believe that this project would be supported adequately with the lack of grocery stores in this area. And so for those reasons, I oppose the cul-de-sac and would consider that the city take this back to the drawing stage and consider another alternative for the 25 acres. In conclusion, I'd also like to just make comment and thank the mayor for coming to the Mesa Republican Women's Luncheon today, and also indicate that there were over 130 people that are in favor of Section 287G. I know that's not an item on this, but I thought it's worthy of at least reporting that to the City Council. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Alex, I forgot to mention you are opposed to this 5A. Next, Terry. And after Terry, we'll hear from Armando Hernandez.
Great. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Terry Medexa, and I'm the President and Executive Director of the Downtown Mesa Association. Cul-de-sac represents a rare and timely opportunity to keep downtown Mesa's momentum moving forward. Projects of this scale do not come often. And the fact that cul-de-sac is proposed for a 25-acre site that has sat vacant for decades makes it truly transformational for downtown. This project will bring 1,000 new residential units, putting more people in our downtown every day. And that's what we hear from our businesses. Our businesses want more people in downtown. They want residents. Residents become the locals that support their businesses. So I think this project is very important for downtown's future. And I think these residents will not only support cul-de-sacs retail, they will also strengthen businesses located throughout downtown. And just as important, this project will help enliven and catalyze nearby investments like the Delta Hotel, the Convention Center, the amphitheater, and ASU's expanding presence in downtown. We've seen Cul-de-sac Tempe succeed with a nationally recognized people-centered design that prioritizes walkability and community. Bringing that proven model here will elevate Mesa as a place to live, visit, and invest. Cul-de-sac is defining opportunity for downtown Mesa. I respectfully urge your support and look forward to working with the city, the cul-de-sac team, and our business community to ensure its success. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Armando? You didn't bring hamburgers for everybody.
No burgers today. Hi, everyone. So I have a unique kind of take on this. As both I have 3 businesses here in the downtown area, Tacos Chihuas, Espiritu, and Main Burgers. I also happen to have a restaurant in the current cul-de-sac in Tempe. And obviously, I have had a good experience. I'm here for them. I think that when you take a bold approach into anything and add something to an area that's already kind of feeling like it's thriving, I think it can only help. More people just, this summer for small businesses, even in the downtown, was rough. It wasn't an easy summer. A lot of the things that happen in a downtown that would allow for businesses to keep growing is to have a decent summer across. With the current climate that we have here, with it dying as much as it does in the summer, it makes it really difficult for it to flourish. So I do think that having more people down here just living and kind of part of a community where communication is very clear, where it's, where I've had nothing but just good experience in getting to know people and understanding kind of the ethos of this as a community. I got to travel quite a bit in other areas, and I know that the notion of parking always kind of comes up. But the more I've been around neighborhoods that where they emphasize structures around people and not the cars, the happier it seems that the community is around it. So yeah, I'm for it. I think that it could be like anything else. Just because we don't have a grocery store down here doesn't mean that we can't have one. But you also have to have the bodies for it to kind of function. A lot of the reasons, from what I've understood, because I'm always trying to urge people to come down here and open things up, is like they want to see more happening for them to kind of invest and take that. And it's, it takes just every single thing that we can add, I think adds to that and to the notion of where we're at and where we want to go in the future. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Armando. Thanks for your investment in downtown Mesa. Mr. Sprague, Tim Sprague.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, my name is Tim Sprague. I'm a person that said 5+ years ago that Mesa was next. I will tell you that Mesa's now. We have invested in downtown Mesa because we think it's the future. Having cul-de-sac as a part of downtown will connect the north to the core, to where ASU is seeing a new home, where we've seen the opportunity for the town to flourish. As Armando just said, grocery stores want to see houses. They want to see rooftops before they come. This is a great opportunity for us to create rooftops. I urge you to vote in favor of this and to continue your effort to help the future of this city. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Maybe we can talk, is Mr. McVeigh here? Tim, Jeff, are you hiding back there? Can you come forward and talk about this project, the first phase, and then the subsequent two? So it's a 3-phase project, and how it's going to interact with the historic district as well as our downtown Mesa.
Certainly, Mayor. Jeff McVeigh, Manager of Urban Transformation. Happy to be here this evening. Cul-de-sac is intended to be a 3-phase project. Importantly, the first phase is a 140-unit for-sale townhome product. I think we've mentioned this a couple of times, but the last time we've had a for-sale townhome project or for-sale multifamily or attached single-family development in downtown is 1986, so it's been about 40 years since we've had this type of an investment. The second phase is a 225-unit, minimum 225-unit multifamily or additional for-sale townhome units. It could also have a component that includes a student housing project that could be with ASU. Now that is very preliminary in discussion, so we've reserved the ability to do so, but that's not expected as of today. And then the third phase would be the most intense phase, and it'd be about 610 units. And those would be generally your standard for rent market rate apartments. In total, we're looking at a minimum of 800 parking spaces to cover the 1,000 units that are expected with the project. I think there was some discussion about the reinvestment that the city would be making. As part of each phase, there is an agreement. The agreements would include the city reimbursing for a portion of public infrastructure. So that means that we would essentially be paying back for infrastructure that the city would own after it's completed, as well as a requirement the city reinvest a component of the land sale purchase price into new infrastructure off-site that would support pedestrian and bicycle activity that feeds not only the entire downtown, but also supports the connection of cul-de-sac to light rail and those modes of transportation that helps it make a car light development more viable.
Thank you, Jeff. So there's some flexibility built into each phase. We know what the first phase is going to be, but as you talked about the second and third phase, there's flexibility whether it becomes a for sale product or multifamily rent type.
Correct, Mayor and Council. We wanted the second phase to have that ability because if phase one is very successful, if the townhomes are very popular, there wouldn't be a reason to not want to continue to do more for sale townhomes. That is a product that is middle density housing is very very desirable just across the city, but also helps with attainability, and it also helps provide density in a way that is still in an ownership model. And that is a good mix for us to have in our downtown.
Okay, good. One of the reasons I'm supporting this is because we have an underperforming asset, and I've said this for years, of our light rail. Our light rail is really underperforming. People are not using our light rail as often as they should. So this, I know we may be underparked in some areas. However, we find a small segment of our population that does wish to use the light rail or other modes of transportation. Is that going to happen overall? I can't say yes, but what I can say is by bringing additional density to our downtown area, I'm hoping that in the future that our light rail gets utilized much better and stronger. So with that, I'll entertain council comments. First, let's start with the vice mayor or council member Heredia, who I can't see. I can see the rest of you. Vice Mayor, do you have any comments?
Thank you, Mayor. I do. I'm going to support this as well. This project and this site has been really an eyesore in our downtown for a very long time. And unfortunately, it was some bad decisions made over 20 years ago to try to do some other type of development that really wasn't going to work. And so, as you noted, Mayor, this has been an underperforming asset. What we really need is a private partner that can come in here and make the investment in the area to grow it. And as has been noted, add more people to our downtown area to patronize the businesses that are there. I'm away right now helping my son move. He got a new job, and we're here in Redmond, Washington. And it's interesting to see the development that's going on in this downtown area with rooftops that are over retail, new houses that are going up in condominiums. I would love to see more condominiums in Arizona. Unfortunately, some laws are getting in the way of that. But it really is interesting to see how much activity happens between the trails. He's 10 minutes from downtown, 10 minutes from work, able to bike or walk or any type of multimodal. And I think downtown Mesa is a place to make something like that happen successfully. If this project tried to happen in my district, I would oppose it because there's no way that it could be successful, which is why just a few weeks ago, I opposed a project because they wanted to shrink garages. The area over in East Mesa is very, very different in that it's car-centric, but downtown has access to other means, and we certainly could use more people in the restaurants and utilizing the facilities that are down there and growing the economy, because a strong downtown is important to a city, even for folks in my district. So because of its location, the unique partnership, the fact that this private developer has a track record of success, access to multimodal transportation, I think this is a good project in the right location.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Ms. Heredia?
Just that I supported this project, the quality, just to add to Mr. Summers' comments, the quality of this development is something that we're looking for more of in Mesa, right? So, adding townhomes, that's a great addition and added value to to what has been brought as far as ideas over the past several years now. And I think to have this type of development happen in the vacant land that we've had for so many years in downtown will, I think, add to the momentum that we have in downtown. So I support this project.
Thank you, Mr. Heredia. Let's go with Mr. Adams next. He was before you.
Thank you, Mayor. This was one of the first proposals that I looked at as a freshman council member, and I'll be honest, I was a bit apprehensive, but I took up the invitation to take a tour of Cul-de-sac's, the developer's project in Tempe, and I was impressed. And I was also impressed with the Cul-de-sac team. These are business people. They know what they're doing. I did some research and continued to receive positive information about their business acumen and their development abilities. But what really turned it for me is the fact that there's 140 for sale units here. I'm a strong proponent for for sale as opposed to for rent. And that's gotten me on different sides of the fence from time to time. But in this particular case, I've lived here all my life, except for the first 5 years. I can't remember a time when that was not vacant dirt. I'm sure there was, but I'm getting up in the years, and I cannot remember a time when that was not vacant dirt. And if it was so marketable that the free market would see an opportunity to develop that, somebody would have by now. Nobody has. And Cul-de-sac came along and worked with the city team. And yes, there are some concessions here, but nobody's come up with a better idea. Folks don't like it, but all ears for an alternative that would work. And it's been at, I don't know, what is it, 20, 30 years? I don't know. Somebody does, but at least 20, if not longer. I don't remember in this town when there was anything there other than vacant dirt. So I agree with the vice mayor. I think in other parts of the city, no, not so much. But here, no one has proposed anything better. And these are for sale. And Mr. McVeigh indicated that I'm assuming if the developer finds success with the first 140, they probably won't be able to wait to pour concrete on the next 140 or whatever it is. For sale. When people buy, they're invested. That creates neighborhood, much more so than rentals. So it's not the kind of project that's normally up my alley, but in this particular case, because of where it is, how it's structured, what it offers, and what it will do, as the mayor mentioned, to we've made investments downtown here, and whether we agree with them or not, we have them. And it is, I think, appropriate to consider how can we make the most of what we've already done. And I think Cul-de-sac fits that bill, so I'm very supportive of the project. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Ms. Goforth.
I would just echo some of those same points. Cul-de-sac has built a great community in Tempe, but they've come over to Mesa and worked with us to design a great community for Mesa. It's not going to look the same as Tempe because Mesa is different than Tempe. Again, we said it was important for us, that we have for sale products down here, and that's what they're providing to us. We also said it's important to integrate and benefit the surrounding communities because they've been there a long time. They're also doing that. They're creating open space on that parcel that is going to be open to the public. So it's not just it's not going to be closed off and only used by those people, those residents on that site, but it's open to the surrounding residents, which is a great benefit to our downtown. As the mayor said, we have a light rail that needs more ridership, and we need people living in downtown and that want to take the light rail. And so parking is important, but this is a unique project that's going to encourage people to take other modes of transportation, as was stated, walking, biking, and using the light rail. And I think the beauty of our downtown is that we have different and unique and creative developments down here. They don't all look the same. And so this one satisfies certain elements that we're looking for, and others satisfy different elements. This one happens to be car light and checks the boxes for encouraging people to take other modes. So I'm for this project. I think Cul-de-sac has listened to Mesa, has listened to us, and designed a great community, and has been open and flexible to the design, perhaps changing. We're not set in stone on phases 2 and 3. So I'm in support of this project. Thanks, Mayor.
Ms. Pillsbury.
I don't know that there is much more I could add. Everyone's kind of hit those points, but I do want to just say that I really appreciated Cul-de-sac inviting all of us out to go see the one in Tempe. I think all of us took advantage of that, and it was incredible. It's so unique. It's very different than any other property you've been on. And if you haven't been over there, go grab dinner over there, or go to some of the stores they have. It's really unique, and I think we are actually super lucky that they want to come to Mesa. I think that with a lot of the exciting things that are in our future, looking at that area with the convention center and the Serine House and ASU and all of the different things that come together, I think it can just really add to this area and find that connectivity that we've kind of been missing, and really provide a unique and an incredible opportunity for people to live and work right there near downtown. So I'm also in support of it.
Thank you. Ms. Duff, I'm sure you'd like to say something.
Of course. I'm so excited to have Cul-de-sac here, and I see tonight as a mark of celebration, assuming that we are all in favor of being able to go forward with this project, that within downtown, the businesses, and you've heard a couple of the stakeholders tonight, so excited. This is a place that downtown, the residents, the businesses, we want. We feel it adds such synergy and life, more life, and to our downtown. It'll be another catalyst that we have that really will get downtown going to that next level. Going back, thinking about how we came to what was going to be Site 17. This goes back to 2018 when we started community outreach, and we hired a consultant, and we asked our community, what would you like to see in this property? And there's extensive month after month, I don't know how long that lasted, at least 6 months, maybe longer. And then we made an attempt to go forward with another developer, and they did extensive outreach again. It was, we found out it wasn't a developer we wanted to go forward with. They weren't going to work out in the agreement. There were some hiccups, so we didn't. And so we went out to the market again and said, this is our community plan. This is what they want to see. This is the kind of elements in this 25 acres we want to see in housing and commercial, and what this looks like, and what kind of property do we want it to be. And the community said, we want a place that we feel like we're part of, that is public, that is not a separate entity. We want it to feel connected to downtown. We want something very special that is iconic, that we can really hang our hat on. That's what we need up here. And yes, we need a small grocer. It's always been on the list since day one. And getting more people to live here, we can get a grocer. So this is satisfying the call of our community, and especially those in downtown, as far as what they would like to see in this property. And I'm so thrilled to have Cul-de-sac be a partner with us in there. They're internationally acclaimed, and the project that they did in Tempe, it's hard to not run across a publication or a radio interview or something about what they've been able to achieve. It's a lifestyle that people are selecting and wanting to move towards in urban areas. When I talk to young people, I have friends who complain their kid does not want to get a driver's license. They don't want to drive. They want someone to drive them or find some kind of alternative mode. They don't want to have driving to be their future. I've talked to young people who have told me that they came to Phoenix, they wanted to be part of the urban lifestyle here and job and stuff, and they felt that we didn't have adequate transportation. They were committed to not having a car, and they moved back to other areas, Portland in particular, in a particular conversation. We have the capacity. If we want downtown to be successful, we need the density here. And we don't need thousands of cars in our downtown. We need thousands of people. Now, we will accommodate the cars for those people who are here and vertical and visiting here. But the people who are living downtown, we don't want to take a car within the square mile. And to go outside, there's car sharing, there's transit. The future is expected to be autonomous vehicles where you might have an autonomous vehicle and it might take you to work and be working for you by doing drives. That like parking spaces itself are going to be something in the past. I've heard developers in large urban in the Northeast talking about even getting away from, if they build parking garages, is going to be one that'll be converted to living spaces eventually, because they see that there will be cars and will driving around, but to have a stationary place for them to sit is not part of the future. We have 140 square miles in Mesa. We have all kinds of lifestyles, from agricultural to beautiful gated communities to all kinds of different communities. Just allow this 1 square mile, just allow downtown to be a downtown where a lot of people live and choose to live in a different way. It may not be the way that you live, that's fine. We have so much to offer in Mesa, but we need to have this offering too. 30% of our population doesn't drive, whether they choose not to or they can't, maybe because of their age. And I, for one, being a senior, I guess I should call myself, but yeah, my future, I don't want driving. I want to find alternative modes. And I plan at some point to be a resident in a cul-de-sac. That is my future, and the future of a lot of people I've talked to. There are so many alternative ways to getting around cities now, and the future is holding that. So, of course, I'm in support of this. I'm very, very excited about this project. I think it's the catalyst for Mesa really putting a stake for the future. We're not building for 50 years ago. We're not building for even now. We're building for what our kids and what we need as an aging population. We need all those alternatives. We need to be a relevant contemporary city. Phoenix, people view Phoenix area as car-centric and strip malls. Yeah, we have that, but we're so much more. And this needs to be a part of the plan as well. I think so many other things have been said, and I'll go on and on because I'm so excited. And I think we should take a vote.
All right. I have one question for the city attorney. Mr. Smith, if the developer does not meet the contractual obligations based on the phases, what happens? Just so the group knows that they're under tight constraints.
Right, and so the idea is that it's a lease. The lease is really a vehicle for the sale, and if they don't meet certain conditions, precedents, requirements, they can't close on the sale of the first phase. And similarly, if they don't continue to meet the obligations, they won't be able to close on the second phase and the third phase. And so the idea is part of the phasing is also to create deadlines, accountability, and that we don't sell all the property sort of right out of the gate and not be able to sort of keep the property if they don't perform on the initial phases.
Okay. And I think it's important to point out that there are timelines for this development. Okay, great. I think pretty much everybody's cast their vote, but I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Ms. Duff, second by Ms. Spilsbury. Please cast your vote. Vice
Aye.
Mayor? Okay, thank you, Mr. Heredia.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much. We'll move over to 7B, has been taken off the consent agenda. 7B is 4062 East Main, 7 plus or minus acres, multifamily residence to RM4. And I have one person to speak, Mary Medino. Mary, would you come forward, please? Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name's Mary Medino. I live off of Brown and Record Road. I'm opposed to this. I'm becoming really alarmed at all the 3-story apartments I see being built all over East Mesa, this being one of them. This is for 137 apartments, of which 42 are 2-story and 95 are 3-story. Apparently, the only access is Main Street. And was a traffic study done? I realize probably it's not a problem now, but they keep on narrowing Main Street up and down, and it could be a potential problem down the road for people wanting to exit that. I read that prior zoning allowed for 80 units to be built, but now the number is 137 that's being allowed. The gentleman who spoke here 3 weeks ago raised the concern of Mesa becoming oversaturated with an oversupply of rental apartments, and I strongly second that concern. I actually called the Ascend Apartments on Record and the 202 and spoke to the person there. They said the occupancy rate there was just a little over 50%. So it's not like there's a line out the door waiting to rent those apartments. If you do see the need for more apartments, which is questionable, people are much less concerned with a 2-story instead of a 3-story, which is an eyesore to East Mesa residents who love the airy, view of the mountains feel that they enjoy. Current stats I found showed that in Mesa, 60% of housing units are owner-occupied and approximately 40% are residents are renters. If you keep authorizing more and more of these very high density apartments going in, that stat is going to get to a 50-50 ratio pretty soon, and eventually renters are going to be surpassing owner-occupied numbers. Lest you forget, homeowners live in their homes for years and contribute to stable, family-oriented communities. Renters stay about 1 or 2 years and are generally transient. Please think about this before you rubber stamp more and more 3-story, high-density apartments going in everywhere. Just because Mesa 2040 General Plan says you can do it, it doesn't mean you should do it. Please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. So this, thank you for the jazz hands. That's awesome. So 7B and 7C are for introduction only. So that means we'll be hearing it back on September 22nd. So just so you know, it's for introduction. And then if we want to have the same conversation on September 22nd, Mary will be here. Okay? All right, with that.
Mayor Freeman, could I just make one clarification? Over here.
Oh, okay,
Thank
the
you,
voice.
sorry. If I could just make one clarification.
Yes.
They've actually submitted a plat with this application, so these would be for home ownership, not as apartment. So I just wanted to make that clarification as council is considering this next in 2 weeks.
Okay, so this is going to be platted
That's correct.
for sale product.
That's correct.
Okay, great. All right. Ms. Spilsbury.
Well, I'm just wondering then, so if we have any comments or questions, you'd like us to wait till we bring it back?
You can do it tonight or on the 22nd. Do you have any questions for staff?
I know she had a question. I had comments.
I had a question, Mary, about the RM4. It's already existing RM4. Is that correct? Put you on the spot.
No, that's okay, Councilmember, go forth. The
Which
current
means-
zoning is RM4, that's correct, and there is a PAD on it also, so there's some modifications that need to be had with that.
So the current zoning is RM4, which allows the density of 30 dwelling units per acre.
That is correct.
And the proposal is for a density of 19.
That's correct.
0.6 dwelling units an acre.
So the rezoning
Individually.
is for the PAD.
Okay, attached single-family ownership.
That's correct.
Okay.
They have submitted a preliminary plat with this application.
Okay, thank you.
Mary, I haven't looked at the site, but are these attached units, like 3 or 4 in a row and then a space and townhomes?
Mayor Freeman, they are attached units. So they're townhouse-type units. Some are 2-story, some are 3-story.
Okay. All right. Ms. Spilsbury?
I can wait.
Okay, great. I'll entertain a motion to move this forward if you like. Motion by Ms. Spilsbury, second by Ms. Duff. Please cast your vote. Mr. Heredia?
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to item 7C, which is zoning case 25-00304, Price Manor 2, 6.5 acres located north of Center Street, on North Center Street, north of McKellips. I don't know if I like the on East McKellips and North Center, it's north of McKellips. But anyway, rezone from single residence 9 from a planned area to PAD overlay with that to a 41 lot single resident development. It is for introduction. We have some speakers on this. First, I'd like to move over patiently to our speaker online. That would be Kimberly Van Riper. Kimberly, are you on the phone?
Yes.
Please go.
Hi, thank you so much, council members. While I'm in favor of the development in general on this parcel, I am opposed at this point. One, for the increased density. It's higher than most of the nearby homes, and I do believe R6 is more appropriate than cutting the lot size in half, especially with it abutting the Lehigh Heritage neighborhood boundary and around 500 feet from the Lehigh sub-area boundary. It's only 600 feet from a boarding stable. Now, that said, Mr. Lake did agree to include disclosures for proximity to a high livestock use area and has a single-family home design, which is very appreciated. One of the issues I have with this is the outreach and citizen participation was not completed accurately by the applicant when compared to a recording of the public meeting that we have. The citizen participation report should have been amended to include the discussed issues such as livestock concerns, rail fences that were discussed, speed and traffic discussions that took place. The disclosures of livestock activity wasn't included in the report either, and concerns with the Lehigh Center Street intersection, which is a major thoroughfare for equine traffic access to the river. In addition, no mailed notices were sent to any Lehigh board members, and email communications of concerns were not included in the report. Because of this, the opportunity to see community concerns addressed was simply not possible. What should have been a constructive process left Lehigh literally without a voice and left many serious concerns omitted from reports and records. When we talk about Mesa and the amazing, unique neighborhoods, Lehigh definitely fits that bill. And the required process is intended to give voices to the community as well as to inform the city of issues they may not be aware of. This did not happen. It left us with zero confidence in the public participation process, as Planning and Zoning Board did not even discuss the public participation aspect when called to question. Ideally, the applicant would be asked to re-engage public participation appropriately before continuing. My hope is that at a minimum, the applicant is required to correct the public participation report to accurately reflect the community concerns, and that Planning and Zoning Board is reminded of the importance of community participation process as a vital component to outreach and informing, so that future planning and zoning cases will include outreach as intended. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Next, we'll hear from Kim Warden. Kim, if you'll come forward, followed by Marilyn Crosby. Welcome, Kim.
Hey, I'm old enough to know what was on the corner. There was houses, the city took them away, and I knew people lived there, so that's what was there. I'm glad you are getting what you want on the cul-de-sac for all the people should be there, but we're in Lehigh where there's not a big group of people, and they started out with bigger lots, the planners, and they've made it smaller, and we just need to keep them at a larger lot. I'm okay with the building, but just keep the lots bigger like they said they were going to, and not the smaller lots. That's it.
Thank you, Kim.
Thanks.
All right. Marilyn? After Marilyn, Annette Williams. Annette, you're on deck. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. It's nice to be with you. Thank you for giving me a little bit of time. I echo Kim's comments about the density of the lot. It would be nice if the first Kim, if the report were corrected as she indicated. I think it's difficult to articulate the expression that someone is supporting a project when support was based on fear of the unknown. So those that were articulating support at that public meeting were actually articulating that they feared that a multi-level apartment complex would end up there if they did not say yes to this. That they were frustrated with the blight because of the irresponsibility of the existing seller of the property, and that they didn't like the fact that they were doing basic maintenance on the property. Those are the reasons for support that were articulated in that meeting. The other motions of opposition in there were, I would say, passionate and diverse. And but the sentiment generally was that it was too dense of a project for the area. Not that it should never be developed. That there was no disagreement with that. That the project, that a project should happen there. That would be more congruent to the neighborhoods on both sides. Something similar to Lehigh Shadows that it abuts to would make sense. Something that's R9, like what it's currently zoned for, would make sense, but that was just too dense. So I hope that the continued conversation can happen and that we can find something that does blend a bit better. And I just support, doing something, but we just don't support this. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Marilyn. Annette Williams. Annette? Gotcha. You prefer, so Annette supports the project and she does not wish to speak, correct? All right. Pardon? You don't support it. It says you do on here. I'll change it for you. All right, you're welcome. With that, I'll start with council discussion on the Price Manor 2. Or we can move it forward with a motion for introduction and then have the discussion on September 22nd.
I would like to hear more about the citizen participation, okay. But if we're going to just vote again to do introduction, I'm fine waiting again.
Mm-hmm. Mary, why don't you discuss the citizen participation community concern that was brought up?
Thank you, Mayor Freeman and Council. So the owner or the applicant did have a citizen participation meeting, and the applicant is here actually if you want some of the details, because again, they're the ones who do the summary of that meeting. At that meeting, there were some comments that were brought up that, at least from a staff perspective, seem to be reflected in the citizen participation report that they prepared. At the Planning and Zoning Board, a lot of the same comments were brought up, so I just want to say that the Planning and Zoning Board did consider the comments that were made by the public at that hearing related to the citizen participation plan, and they've, in making their recommendation, and I don't want to speak for them, but they must have believed that the comments were addressed. So they did have that meeting. There were some concerns raised. There were some things that they agreed on a private property basis to do with the applicant as it relates to the DG trail on Center and some other things that, again, that the applicant can speak to if you want. So they did follow the code in terms of what the requirements are for that citizen participation plan, and we do think that it accurately reflects what was said at that meeting. We did have a staff person there, and she did confirm that it was generally accurate, the report.
Very good. Thank you. Council, do you want to hear from the applicant, Mr. Adams?
I think that would be constructive. Just, if I may, Mayor, just a couple of comments that Mr. Lake may want to also address when he gets the mic. I am, as I sit here tonight, I'm not supportive of the project. However, there is ongoing dialogue, I think, in good faith on all sides of this issue. I understand what Mary just commented with respect to the citizen participation report, but sometimes what we think falls within all of the checks and boxes isn't, the folks who were there may not feel like they were heard, and it doesn't sound to me like they were, but or at least they don't feel like they were. It's an interesting project. It is it's a nice product. We had a conversation this morning. I said, it's a nice product. I just have a problem with where it is proposed to be. So I would say that we have some time here between its introduction and a final decision. I'm always hopeful that that reasonable people can find a way to, yes, that everybody feels like they've won a little bit of what's important to them. I don't know which way this will go, but those are my comments at this time. And Mayor, with your permission, I'd yield to Mr. Lake.
Mr. Lake, the time is yours. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm not sure you're yielding to me, but I'm sure happy to take time. Sean Lake, 1744 Southwell Vista, Mesa, Arizona, here on behalf of Mr. Sweeney Brighton Homes, who is looking to develop this rectangular infill left piece of property for for-sale middle housing homes. As you recall, about 1.5 years ago, we did Price Matter 1, which is another long rectangular couple acre strip just directly south of here, for sale single-family homes, and he's permitted and he's out there developing that site now. And so these two pieces kind of sit in a very unique area. You have a mobile home park directly to the south that's zoned for 30 units to the acre that could go in, and when that mobile home park redevelops, you're going to have multifamily by right. On the east side of this property, you don't have Lehigh. You have areas that were developed adjacent to Lehigh with some transition density type housing with Lehigh shadows, as well as some mobile home subdivisions to our east. Then to the north of it, you have the ADOT retention basin. And then on the other side to the west, you have the new city soccer field park and center. And for those that have spent time on center is a busier truck traffic type route. But this area is not in Lehigh, it's just outside of Lehigh. We did have a neighborhood meeting. We did have different groups of people, both people in supporting and people that were opposed to the project. I'll be honest with you, we tried to do a fair job of representing both parties, because you got people who were opposed telling us what the people who were supportive said, and then you got the people supportive trying to say what the people opposed said, and they're not going to mesh all the time. And so we tried to do an accurate reading with our citizen participation. Were we perfect? No. Did we try to incorporate some things? Yes, we do have a horse trail along Center Street. We do have rail fencing. We're looking at seeing what we can do right now with the city to accommodate traffic. So I don't want to go into everything, but we have listened. We continue to listen. And quite honestly, if they want to invite me over to their home or they want to come to my home, because we live pretty close to each other, we're happy to have further discussions about this in the next 2 weeks. We want to maintain that dialogue. We want to have discussions. We may not agree on anything, but on everything, but if there are things that we can agree on, we're open and willing to work on that in the next couple of weeks. So I would make that offer out, and I'll give them my number as I walk out the door. They already have my number, but that's all I have to say for now, and look forward to a full presentation in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lake. Ms. Pillsbury.
I just was wondering what the density is on Price Manor 1.
Those lots are about, I don't know the density number.
Is there a big difference?
It's more dense than what we are here.
Oh, it's more dense.
Yes, we're actually larger lots than we did at Price Matter 1.
And those have not been built yet, they're just in the
they're under
process.
construction. The site work is being done now.
Okay.
We had some trouble in permitting and getting through, but
So
that's
this
all
is
resolved.
less dense than that
This is
original
less dense
one.
than that
And the
project.
plan is to share the amenities between the two properties.
Yeah, the goal is to have Mr. Sweeney, Brighton Homes, develop both projects. That way, instead of having an HOA with 61 lots, and this is an HOA with 41 lots, you would have an HOA with 102 lots. And then it's nice to have the same builder develop both, have the same CC&Rs, the same HOA fee, and then you can spread those costs over more people. So we have an opportunity to try to do something now and make it more sustainable.
And the claim that the project became more dense than was originally promised, what's the history there?
This property was originally zoned RS9, 9,000 square foot lots in 2005.
Okay, so 20 years ago.
20 years ago. They graded the property, they put in a road, and they've stopped. And that property owners over time, they've never been able to make it pencil. And so I agree. It would have been great in 2005. It just didn't pencil, and it doesn't pencil now. And I can talk more about that in a couple of weeks.
Council, thank you, Mr. Lake.
Thank you.
I'll entertain a motion to move this forward for introduction. Is there a motion to do that? Thank you, Ms. Duff. Thank you, Ms. Pillsbury. Please cast your vote. Mr. Redia?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you for your vote. Next is item 8 from citizens present. We allow 3 speakers, 3 minutes to speak because of the topics of the speakers. Raised are not on our agenda, and those that we may or may not respond to the speaker. But for those who are watching on Channel 11, you should know that many times at the conclusion of the meeting, the council member or staff member will get with you and look at your information further. I've took the liberty, I have 4 blue cards. Yes, I'm breaking my own rules. Alex Francic, Alex, you're up first if you wish to speak. And then Mary, maybe you're next on deck. Alex?
Thank you, Mayor, council members. Just since it's kind of my time, regarding the fluoride, that was Proposition 400, passed November 2nd, 1999. It allowed the city to put fluoride. It didn't mandate the city to put fluoride in the water, just for clarification when you looked at that.
Great.
So the reason why I'm here, I'm a proud immigrant and U.S. citizen, grateful to call Mesa home and one of the safest, largest cities in our nation. I commend the city for its steadfast commitment to that 287G program, which strengthens our community's safety. I also extend my heartfelt thank you to our peace officers who undertake the challenging and dangerous work of keeping us safe. I have family in law enforcement, and I've been on ride-alongs, and I see what the peace officers have to deal with. Once again, thank you. I'm deeply troubled by those, particularly non-Mesa residents, who urge our council to end 287G and allow criminals to remain in our community. As an immigrant who followed the legal path to citizenship, I firmly believe immigration must be done lawfully. The 287G program targets only those who break our laws. It's simple. If you're non-documented and wish to avoid ICE or potential deportation, don't commit crimes in Mesa. Mesa's unique partnership with ICE deters criminal activity by undocumented individuals. Knowing arrest could lead to deportation, potential offenders may take their crimes elsewhere, like Tempe or Phoenix. This program makes Mesa safer, and it's a direct benefit to all of us, including our peace officers. The law-abiding citizens of Mesa, who far outnumber the few voices calling for the 287G removal, strongly support its continuation. This program is a proven deterrent to crime and a vital tool for protecting our families and community. Thank you for your unwavering commitment to keep 287G in place and prioritizing the safety of Mesa citizens. I urge you to stay the course. Thank you, City Council.
Thank you, Alex. Mary? Mary, you're up, followed by Scott. Is it Granger? Scott? Anyway, Scott.
Yes, it's
G.
Granger.
You're next. Okay. Thank you. Mary?
Okay. I'm here to urge the City of Mesa to uphold law and order by keeping intact the 287G agreement with ICE and to cooperate fully with ICE in all matters relating to the routine duties of police officers. We, the people, want criminal aliens who are accountable for U.S. removal to be ID'd and removed. Mesa is promoted as being very safe for families and children, which is dependent on Mesa Police utilizing all tools at their disposal. In 2009, when Mesa signed this agreement, it really didn't receive much public notice. Now in 2025, after millions of undocumented aliens have crossed our border illegally, most people acknowledge we have a major problem in our country. These open borders of the prior Biden administration have produced child trafficking, drugs, murder, rape, and various other crimes, including white-collar crimes, across the country. Unfortunately, sanctuary cities and states have sprung up in places such as California, Oregon, Washington, and Illinois, and we've all seen those consequences. Does it make sense to eliminate a tool Mesa currently enjoys? If you all recall, in 2024, Proposition 314 passed by almost a 2/3 margin. Now it's a state crime, besides being a federal crime, to enter Arizona from another country if that person does not cross through a legal port of entry. So if you enter illegally, it's a crime and can be punishable by a prison sentence, or the illegal can agree to go back to his country of origin. So let's keep the tools the City of Mesa has. And as far as people saying our residents are afraid and fearful, if you are here legally, you have nothing to fear. I support the 287G program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Next, we'll hear from Scott. I guess some of you forgot the admonition of the jazz hands. We're watching you.
Mayor and council, my name is Scott Granger. I'm a husband, a business owner, precinct captain in LD10. As I understand it, 287G is a memorandum of agreement between the City of Mesa and the Immigration Customs and Enforcement, ICE. Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, the memorandum requires that the Mesa Police Department notify ICE when MPD has in custody illegal aliens, one or more. The direction is clear and concise. It also relieves the City of Mesa from the costs and trouble associated with retaining such person or persons. It places the illegal alien in a position where he belongs on his way out of the United States of America. Changing this requirement by removing this specific direction, by changing the memorandum, clouds what is to be done with an illegal alien. It will leave the decision to someone other than the council. Then what happens? You don't know, and it would also appear as though the council does not care what happens, does not care what happens to the constituents in the City of Mesa. Well, as you may have noticed from the national news lately, the problem does not go away, but festers and gets far worse. The eventual result endangers your constituents, everyone here. Mesa Police Department officers and federal officers. Relaxing or negating the memorandum is a step down a very slippery slope into conditions such as we have all seen in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and many other cities. Your constituents don't want to go there. It's time to declare It's time to show your constituents that you know what is important for the city of Mesa and maintain the rule of law. Maintain the memorandum. Be strong and know that we, your constituents, believe in the rule of law. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we'll hear from Mary Ann. Thank you for the jazz hands. Mary Ann?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I appreciate the time. I speak from a unique perspective because I've personally been affected by illegal alien crime. My son was a Mesa police sergeant, Sergeant Brandon Mendoza, killed on May 12th of 2014. The illegal who killed my son had the 287G program been present up in Colorado when he committed a bunch of crimes and he would have been deported from the country, he would not have ended up here killing my son. My son could still be alive today. I am the founder of Angel Moms and Angel Families. We have worked with a couple of administrations. We work across the country. I have been, unfortunately, the person who's been in contact with over 100,000 victims of illegal alien crime. And the majority of those people have had their loved ones killed by somebody who has committed a crime illegally here in our country and been released back out into the communities. So the fallacies and the untruth that people come up here and talk about who support getting rid of the program, this is a safety net that we have. Our Mesa Police Department is not out on witch hunts searching for people. It's as they pass through our jail system, when they're arrested, when they've committed a crime, they will be asked what their immigration status is, and if they are here illegally, then Mesa Police cooperates with ICE to remove them from our communities. We could not ask for a better safety net over our community, and I don't want to see Mesa go down the path of sanctuary cities. I've gone to DC, I've testified many times about sanctuary policies and the dangers that this presents to people. They need to allow American citizens to sue the very people who put these policies into place, because that's allowing illegal criminals back out into our system who end up killing an innocent American. So I don't want to see that happen to Mesa, and thank you for standing strong on this. I back up the Mesa Police Department and what they're doing, and that they've adopted this program, because it is what makes Mesa safer. They're the only police department in the state of Arizona who practices the 287G program, and I applaud them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Ann. It's a nice time to have a cough. Thank you. Ms. Mosley, do you have any blue cards or additional requests to speak?
I have
You have a
several
few?
blue cards.
Okay.
Some that did wish to speak, others did not wish to speak, that they all want to be on record.
Would you share those with us?
Absolutely. I have Jan McDaniel had wanted to speak on homelessness tonight. And the rest of these are all regarding the 287G. In opposition of that, I have Ryan Jera-Bursch, and I will just apologize now if I mispronounce any of these names. Jillian Ryan, Marissa, April Joy, Elizabeth Holmes, Betsy Soderquist, Edwina Vogan, and Shelley Gordon. And then the remaining names are in support of the agreement. Joanne Robbins, Brian Eckley, Amy Eckley, Elaine Klusman, Jeff Klusman, Jan Krieger, Rick Schwalbach, Jenny Hallstrom, Mark Robbins, Linda Patrick Hayes, Wendell Allison, Charles Henry, David Smith, Dorian Taylor, Mark Kimball, Kevin Medema, Matt Greer, Neil Johnston Rouse II, Lawrence Moody, Linda Wallace, Barbara Hyatt, Donald Hyatt, Dan Blackburn, William Boone, Suzette Coggins, Michelle Masters, Lynn Spear, Dean Johansson, Claire Redding, James Redding, Connie Wykehurst, sorry, there, it was in the email. Mary Lou St. Cyr, Vance Ann Lewis, Suzanne Wickline, Robin Kleinman, Barbara Johnson, Phyllis Rogers, Greg Oswalt, Rachel Altman, Don Hanson, Mary Ann Mendoza, Lori King, Lisa Pena, Mark Lavender, Susan Ellsworth, Tara Rowland, Spencer Rowland, Walter Von Kampen, Nancy Wigton, John Wigton, Thomas Quillen, Sherry Quillen, Rustin Pierce, Julie Crane, Julie Sessions, Rick Obley, Stephen Ochoa, Jennifer Erickson, Dana Medema, Heather Scantleberry, Robert Scantleberry, Elizabeth Perkins, I believe, Larry Perkins, Deborah DeVold, Martin DeVold, Patty Patterson, Melody Whetstone, Gary Whetstone, Amber Gilbert, Scott Granger, Maria Granger, David Smith, Terry Hathcock, Carrie Davis, Anne I should know this, Fran Nietzsche, Lisa Pierce, Julie Ryan, and Meg Rubino. That is all of them.
Thank you, everyone, for attending and your advocacy. We really appreciate you being part of our city and our residents. And thank you for taking the time out and traveling to your city hall. With that, council will entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Ms. Spilsbury. Ms. Duff, all in favor say aye. Aye. Vice Mayor? Okay. Mr. Heredia?
Aye.
Thank you. We're adjourned.